Welcome to our webinar on 3 easy ways to finance your masters in the US. We will wait a couple of minutes and we'll let others join in and we'll start taking your questions right away. Arushi, till the time we're waiting, can you please drop in all of our social media links? So for more study abroad content, to know more about English proficiency examinations, how to finance your education, what program to choose, what is your academic eligibility. We try to cover all of these topics on our social media channels. So Arushi will put down our handles in the chat and you can go ahead and follow us. We will start in another 2 minutes, waiting for other learners to join in. We also have a very special guest with us who's going to help decode financing our education abroad, which seems to be one of the most popular questions that study abroad have in their mind. He's going to help us understand how it is not so difficult, or this can be one of those processes that can be eased out if you're well prepared or if you've already understood about your program or the country that you're going to in advance. We will also be concentrating on studying in the US and in Canada specifically. So if you have any other countries in mind, you want to study in Europe, you want to study, in Australia or any other country, you can put down your email ID in our chat and we'll make sure you meet an expert counselor who can help you with that particular country. So our focus today is going to be studying abroad, specifically your masters in the US and Canada as well. Okay, I think we can at least start with the basic questions. So first, let me introduce our guest speaker for the day, Mr. Suprio Chaudhary. He has 15 plus years of experience in this field, in the education field. He's currently leading the South and the Southeast Asia partnerships for business development for Empower financing. Starting with what is Empower, I don't know how many of you are aware or not aware, but this is, so Empower as an organization is an expert at international student loans for universities that you are eligible for in the US and in Canada. And there's also a very interesting thing called the Empower list. So we'll know a little bit more about Empower and the Empower list from Suprio. A very warm welcome to Suprio.
Prajakta, thank you so much for having me here. Excited.
So can we know about what exactly Empower is and what is the Empower list? I think our students will be very, very happy to know about the list.
Absolutely. So Empower is the next gen fintech organization. We call ourselves as social impact organization. We are working towards making the socio-economic mobility borderless. That's our ethos and that's our vision. And in doing this, for the last 8 years, we have been helping the students across 200 nations to get access to our no cosigner, no collateral loan to fulfill their dreams and aspirations when it comes to higher education in the US or Canada.
Okay. So the catch point here, students, is no cosigner, non-collateral. I don't know if this dream, if you're studying abroad dream is recent or have you been aspiring to go abroad, but having a non-collateral and a non-cosigner loan means a lot. So speaking from personal experience, I have studied abroad, I have studied in France, and I understand this process can sometimes be a little tedious for normal students to understand. That's why we have Suprio here with us. Suprio, what is the Empower list? Can you tell our learners or aspirants that what exactly is this list all about?
So, as I mentioned, that we do not really need any cosigner or a co-applicant, nor do we need any collateral. So we heavily bank upon on the algorithm that we have created after crunching the data over last 8 years. We have researched on several schools situated in the US and Canada, understanding their landscape of placements, how the students were placed, how they have started working, and whether they were capable enough to repay us the loans that we offered them. So that led us to create an ML and an AI algorithm which calculates the future earning potential of the students. So we have been able to make eligible over 430 universities, top-notch universities, which we felt that they have been placing the students very well across US and Canada. And the students have been very successfully, they have been able to repay us. So these are the universities per se which are eligible on our website, and students who really wishes to study in one of those universities are eligible to apply a loan with Empower.
Okay, so if I can put that in other words, I think Empower list is a list of institutions that Empower has, with an AI algorithm understood, and using that list, they're judging your future potential after you study in these universities. And they find that any university that is on their Empower list makes you eligible for a non-collateral, and the loan doesn't even need a co-signer. Am I correct, Suprio?
Absolutely. Well put.
Okay. So we are starting with a couple of frequently asked questions, after which we will take live questions. Anybody that has a question regarding financial implications or your financial, obligations when it comes to coming, studying abroad, please put your questions in the chat box. The first question that we're going to take is, what is this? So I'm an aspirant, I want to study abroad. What is the step-by-step process to secure a loan? Is it a very lengthy process? Do I have to, prepare well in advance? Or what is the process that I will undertake as a student?
So Prajita, gone are those days where the students and the parents, they have to really stand in a queue to secure a loan and chase the relationship officers and the people sitting in the bank for seeking a loan or probably getting a loan sanctioned. So we are a 100% digital company. The loan process at our end, to make it very simple and yet understandable for the students, to check the eligibility on our website or on our loan application, hardly takes 30 seconds. So within 30 seconds, the students would be able to check their eligibility, and filling out an application would further take 25 to 30 minutes. Now, having said this, in the next 25 to 30 minutes, we come up with an instant conditional offer if the profile is in sync with our credit parameters. So just think about a platform which helps you to get an eligibility check within 30 seconds, and in the next 25 to 30 minutes somebody is there on the system saying that you are conditionally approved for a particular amount of loan which is completely in sync with your profile. So this is how fast the process is. And then once we offered the students with the conditional offers, we then ask the students to upload the documents, right? And again, unlike any lender which only works on either co-applicant or a co-signer process, we don't need either, right? And that's why the requirement of seeking documents from the students is far less than what the any traditional lender would ask. So if you look at the traditional banking and the lending sector, they would normally ask on an average 20 to 25 documents. That would include the CIBIL, the co-applicants' income criteria, ITRs, and then collaterals, the assets and stuff. We don't need anything sort of this. So hardly we would ask for 4 to 5 important documents that would include the passport, your identification, your permanent address, your current address, right? And which university are you going, to upload the admit card of that particular institution. And then at the later stage, we'll ask to upload your visa. And if you have any funds available at, as self-funding, like if you have some funds available in cash or in liquid or in shares or in mutual funds, just show and just disclose that particular amount. Though we are not going to really take that, but it will definitely help the students to strengthen their, profile with us. So only these, all these sorts of documents are required, and it's pretty fast process. Once you upload the document, then within the next 4 to 5 working days, if all the documents are in sync with our credit parameters and there are no additional documents required by our creditors or credit team, you should be getting an approval from Empower.
Okay, so not only are you securing a loan that does not need a collateral or a co-signer, you're getting that loan to finance your dream in under 30 minutes without the requirement of 25 to 30 documents. That is how much Empower changes the entire financial process to secure a loan for your study abroad dream in under half an hour. If your university is in the Empower list, that is how fast you can actually get your loan. And simple documents are required as what Suprio said. Please, Suprio.
Just wanted to add again. So within 30 minutes, the students, they get a conditional offer.
Yeah.
Conditional offer means like the offer will stand valid if the documents that we sought by, yes, exactly, by Empower are absolutely in sync with our requirements. Thank you.
Correct. So if your documents are in place, it is 30 minutes and under 30 minutes that you can secure this loan. Okay, coming to the next question. What are the documents that are required? Just an idea, because you're saying you don't need documents in the conditional stage of the loan. What are the documents that will be required at a later stage, and what is the timeline? So when does the loan disbursement actually happen?
That's a good question, Prajita. So as I mentioned that we don't really need scores of document. We have limited ourselves to seeking only documents that's put into the identification of the student, their passport, the soft approval that they have received from the university. Later stage, the I-20, and again, but at the same time, we are making I-20 optional as well. But if the students want, they can upload the I-20 as well. And thereafter, if they have any sponsor, if they have their funds available, right, we always encourage them to show that, to disclose that as well in the form of various documents that they have. And going further down the path, when they get the visa, we ask them to upload that as well, and that's how it's only this sort of documents required to process their application.
So documentation has been made very simple. You just require very simple. It's just your own identification, and that's about it. You don't need any other document that is to be procured from somewhere, or you have to wait for it to come on mail. Just very basic documents that you'll already have in check once you think that I'll be studying abroad this year. Also, what is the timeline for the loan process, for the disbursement to actually happen? Is there a timeline for this?
Absolutely. So when we give our students with the final loan agreement and they sign the final loan agreement, we do not really send the funds to the co-applicants or to the student's account, right? The fund straight away goes to the university account. By saying this, it means we save a lot of dollars when it comes to forex charges and banking and transaction charges. So we have our channels set with universities. They have set up their own timelines, and it is different from university, to university. It's very unique. And when the universities they seek funds, we straight away send the funds as per their requirement. So what we advise and what we suggest our students that leave the entire transactions and the loan journey with us. What is required is just you go and you just study and you complete your course. That's about it. Regarding any financial requirement, regarding any settling any particular transaction or payments with your university, let Empower do that for you. Right? So that's how the thing is. Yeah.
Okay, so the USPs of Empower that we've covered so far for the students who've just joined are that not only is it fast, it is also reliable, and also you don't need a co-applicant or a collateral. So these are the three things that we've covered. So if your university is there with Empower, then you don't. So it's fast, it's reliable, and you don't need a co-applicant or a collateral. Or any question that you have in this point in time, please put it in the chat box. We will be taking your questions shortly. We're just taking a few common questions, after which we'll take your questions. If in case you're looking to study in any other country apart from US and Canada, please feel free to drop in your email ID. We will make sure we connect you to the best experts that we have on board to help you guide with your dream.
Prajit, I would like to also add something here with respect to the funds that we issue and we offer to the students. For US, we cover end-to-end funding when it comes to tuition fees, living expenses, books and periodicals, right? And but for Canada, we cover only the tuition fees, right? and that too for the students after they get visa.
Okay. So that is something for you to note if you're looking for US or Canada. These are the specifics that Suprio is mentioning, that for the US, they might even cover your living cost, whereas for Canada, it's just pure tuition fees that we're talking about here.
And the
Yes.
maximum loan that we offer to the students is $100,000.
Okay. So that is your upper limit, $100,000 for your tuition living in the US and just for your tuition in Canada. Coming to collateral versus non-collateral loans, all you need to know. So sometimes as a student, you may not be aware of what a collateral loan is and what a non-collateral loan is. And when we keep saying that the primary USP is that you're getting a non-collateral loan. So Priyo, can you just explain in very simple words, what is the difference between them?
So collateral is essentially it's an item that the banks or the lender would seek from you in order to safeguard and mitigate the risk of the investment that they're doing on you. That would cover your assets in the form of liquid and also in terms of property. So it would be either your property in the form of house, land, those papers. And when it comes to the liquid, it would be the fixed FDs, your savings account, your mutual funds, or anything that could be liquidated. So these are the items which normally a lender would ask and seek, and they will get you sign on a paper that if you by any unfortunate means, if you fail to comply with the repayment, they are free to seize your assets and your hard earnings, unfortunately. And yeah, so that's the collateral. And non-collateral is nothing. Like we somebody who wouldn't need your assets, wouldn't ask to store or seize or even ask to put your liquid assets on guarantee. So anything which demands no guarantee is a non-collateral.
Okay, so I hope all of you, it is clear that what is the difference between collateral and what is the difference between non-collateral, and why are we emphasizing and re-emphasizing on the fact that a non-collateral loan would mean that you don't need to have any assets, whether fixed, physical, liquid, etc. You don't need to have any of those. This is based on the potential, on your future potential after, so your employability after you are done with the course. What is the rate at which you'll be able to, waive these off by paying it back? You don't need any asset to secure the loan. So having a non-collateral loan would be a huge plus. It's a huge bonus for any study abroad aspirant who wants to finance the education themselves.
Just wanted to add one more thing, Aprajita. See,
Please.
When it comes to collateral, a cosigner actually takes the responsibility for a loan if the student is unable to repay the loan eventually. So as I mentioned, that it's an item of value that the lender would eventually seize from a customer if they fail to repay the loan.
Correct. Okay, I hope all of that is clear. If still this is something that is confusing to you, please put down your question in the Q&A box and we'll make sure we take it. We'll be taking all of your questions. We had a survey and they said that, sometimes they have a lot of questions and we fail to answer, but we'll try to cover all of them. Yes, Suprio.
And Aprajita, I think this is such an important question, and especially, this question goes out to all the aspiring candidates who have joined this session. They need to ask themselves whether they really want to put themselves or their parents into debt to fund their dreams. And is it really required to put their parents or their guarantors into debt? It could be themselves as well. Yeah.
That is actually very, so whenever I host a webinar, I always tell students that this is not just a frivolous decision that you take. This is it's a very important decision that I want to study abroad. I mean, I want to make a career abroad. So,
that's right.
So just think well in advance. You can find, so in today's times, you can finance your dream of studying abroad very easily in under 30 minutes, as Suprio said. But what is it that you're willing to sacrifice, or what is it that you're willing to undertake to secure that dream, is a big question and needs to be thought about. So that option of a non-collateral or a collateral loan is available. What is it that you are willing to undertake to complete or to secure this dream? Again, coming to non-collateral loans, what are the programs and schools, on this list, that upGrad abroad has in their portfolio, and that Empower says that these schools are good to go, we are going to finance your loan basis the basic documentation is complete?
Good news, like all the over 430 universities that we have approved and have made eligible, all their programs are eligible as far as Empower loans are concerned. So any student going to any university can apply to any program, any course, and they are eligible to apply a loan with Empower. Having said this, I believe most of the students and people around are aware that since we base our decision based on the future earning potential, the STEM and the MBA students tend to earn higher, right? In US and Canada, it's not a hidden fact. It's people are already aware of this particular trend. So students coming from this section of education, or from this such courses, and or probably going to attend such courses, stands a very a brighter chance, a higher chance, a brighter chance to get an approval.
So very important, because we talk about masters, because we talk about the US and Canada. If you're going in for MBA, if you're going in for any STEM course, STEM, to break it down to all of you, is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So if you're going for a program in STEM, it is easier. You have a brighter chance, as Suprio says, to secure the loan. Also, let us take a couple of questions. If by any chance you've joined our webinar and you have other questions, we have a webinar next week as well on Ask Us Anything. We will have an academic advisor who will be checking your eligibility on the webinar itself. So you can register on the website, or my colleague Arushi can share the link for them to register for next week. Let's pick up a few live questions through them. Okay, so somebody has asked us about living expenses. So Supri has already answered that question. If you're going to the US, living expenses can be covered, but if you're going to Canada, only tuition fee is covered. So Jagdish wants to do an MBA from Griffith University, Dublin. So today we are talking about masters in the US and Canada. Jagdish, if you want more assistance, please drop in your email ID, or you can write to us at social@upgradabroad.com. My colleague will put the handle in the chat box. All academic eligibility related questions or finance related questions from other countries apart from US and Canada, please write into us at social@upgradabroad.com with your profile, and our experts will get back to you. Madhu Sudan says, Touro University is not eligible for a loan. Suprio, is Touro University in the list?
I really need to check. There are 430 universities, but what the candidate could do is reach out to the executive of your loan vertical, and they would be able to help them out straight away.
So also you said that if you go to the website, you can check your eligibility within 5 seconds, is it? So if you want to check Touro University, Madhusudan, please head over to Empower's website. You can check if you're eligible, and then write back to us on social@upgradabroad.com, and we'll help you get the course. Okay, so Bhavna has a question, Suprio. After getting the loan, when do we start repaying the loan?
So Bhavna, that's a brilliant question, right? Now, to answer your question, there is a question in return, right? What do you think? Most of the students who eventually land in the US, do they go with a dream to complete the course and come back to their home country, or settle somewhere else, or they want to settle in US. If I ask this question to any student, Aprajita is smiling, so would other students be? They would definitely, their first priority would be to stay back in the US and sustain their life, build their career, right? At least for a couple of years, gain experience and then explore the entire world. Now, to sustain life, there are certain things which are very, very important in US. Okay, you need an apartment, you need a flat to stay, you need a car to really roam and to go somewhere else. You also, if you really want to access the larger financial ecosystem in US, there will be a requirement of a credit score, a US credit score. The way you build CIBIL score in India, in US, there is a requirement of you, building the US credit score. It's known as FICO score. Why I'm sharing this information with you? So that you could be very clear that when you go and land in US and you really dream to stay there and you're making plans, please ensure that you don't miss out on building your US credit score. Having said this, good news for Empower customers is we are a US firm and we give loan in dollars and not in INR. And what does that do? When you start repaying the loan to Empower, it eventually adds up and builds your US credit history, which no other lender in India, at least, especially the lenders who are offering you loans in INR, would be able to ensure, right? And you can't purchase a credit score, right? So it's not possible legally. So answering that question, that when the student would start repaying the loan, the student would start repaying at least the simple interest of that loan and not the EMI just after sending the first tranche to the university. We don't give and we don't transfer the entire loan or this entire amount to the university at one shot. Nobody asks for that. It is a semester wise tranche that the university would require. So say for an example, if you have asked for $45,000, the university might ask for say $10,000 or $12,000 a semester or $15,000, and only on that those many $1,000 you need to pay the simple interest on that tranche, right? What's the benefit that you would derive out of that is, once you start paying that particular interest, we will help you build the US credit score, which you would be able to utilize in building your life in US.
And when do they start actually paying the EMIs? So as of what I understand, after you send the first semester fee to the university, they need to pay the interest only, not the amount. So when do they actually start paying that amount?
So they start paying the interest plus the principal amount, portion of the principal amount, after 2.5 years. When I say 2.5 years, means after the course completion. And if I assume that course is for 2 years, then it is 2 years. And then there is a 6 months moratorium. So potentially it becomes 24 plus 6, 30 months for a course duration of 2 years. Now, somebody going for an 18 months course or even 12 months course, then it would be 12 months plus 6 months eventually, right? So for course duration plus 6 months, the students needs to pay us only the interest amount on the loan that we have disbursed. I am stressing this because it is again a myth that normally students are asked to pay whatever has been sanctioned and not being consumed. And this is a striking difference and an upside with Empower, that we only charge and we levy our interest on the amount that you have consumed eventually, and not that you have asked for or we have sanctioned, right? So that's how the thing is. Yep.
Okay. So I hope that answers your question. A couple of people had asked about the repayment, etc. So I hope that answers your question. Dipali from Mumbai is saying that I'm 40 and I'm working as an IT professional with 15 years of experience, and I want to study abroad, but I cannot, take such a huge financial commitment. Is there any age criteria? Is the question.
There's no age criteria for us. as long as you're going for a master's degree and you get a yes from a university, and it should be a degree course, not a diploma course, not a certificate course. Uh, we are just fine to help you.
Okay, so age is no bar. There is no, when you start thinking about studying abroad, age should never be a hindrance in that study abroad brain. Don't think that you're not going to get a loan or university is not going to accept us. So Suprio is saying if the university says that you're welcome to do a master's degree, not a diploma, not a certificate, then you're most welcome. Okay, so I have a question from Saikat. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correct. He's saying he has an admission from Stanford, but his background is making him unable to fund this. Can I apply for the full amount from Empower, Suprio?
Okay, so Shoikot, right? He's a Bengali, so I'm just pronouncing his name the way he would like to hear that.
Okay.
Right. So Empower's the maximum amount that you can seek from Empower is $100,000. I understand Stanford would be asking for $198,000. Fortunately, unfortunately, we would be able to help you with $100,000 at max, depending on the criteria and the profile, and the rest $98,000 you can easily reach out to any other Indian lenders and get that as well. That particular funding. Yeah.
So Suprio, is that a possibility?
Yeah. So it's a possibility. Otherwise, right. So Empower would be able to chip in with $100,000, right? You can probably figure out the rest $98,000 either through your funds or sponsorships or scholarships or any help from the Indian lenders. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Let us take Sunil's question. He's saying, do you cover PhD also, or is it just for masters?
That's a very good question. So we fund the students who are just 2 years away from their course completion. So having said this, masters, as you know, it's all within 2 years. So it's a clear yes from us. When it comes to PhD, if you are just 2 years away from the completion of your PhD program, you're most welcome to explore an Empower loan with us.
Okay, so that is interesting. This is something for you all to take note of. 2 years from completion, that is what you need to check. Whether it's a master's or a PhD, if you're 2 years close to completion, Empower will be ready to help you with the funds. Satish is saying, I have enrolled for a master's in computer science at Troy University through upGrad abroad. Oh, so you're an upGrad abroad learner. You're saying, is it eligible for the study loan? Satish, as Suprio also said that you can check on Empower's website. Otherwise, your counselor will be more than happy to help you with how to finance your dream. If in case that is not working out for you, Satish, please write into us at social@upgradabroad.com. I will make sure that we get somebody to connect with you from the finance vertical of upGrad abroad. Arushi, can we please put down the handle for Satish to get in touch with us? This is social@upgradabroad.com.
Aparajita, just to answer his question, Troy is not eligible. So okay. It's not in our list here.
Okay, so Troy is not in your list. However, if there are other finance options that we can help you with, we'll make sure that is made easy for you. Just write into us and we'll connect you to the right person. Okay. He's saying, so we have an anonymous attendee. He's saying, if I want to join the university on my own, can I approach Empower and get it loaned? Absolutely, I think.
Oh yeah. So, see, if you really ask me the path or the support that you should really choose in order to help you and smoothen the entire process, because at times you would also need some communication, you would also need some expert advice, and also maybe how to fill in an application. Though it's not a rocket science. Anybody and everybody should be able to do this, but I personally believe that upGrad and their loans team, their advisors have been offering excellent support to their students, and they are just a call away, they are just a WhatsApp away, and they understand Empower application process very, very well, right? So that in turn would actually help you understand Empower better, and they would be able to help you quickly probably fill in their application, and then help you with any communication that you would require going forward, with Empower. So yeah, so you have got both the options. If you go straight away to the university and do it, then you are on your own. And then if you tend to choose upGrad and their loans team, I think they would be more than happy to help you and get the thing sorted for you.
Sometimes what happens is I feel that because even when I was in the process of applying, you just need that support. You need that someone who knows the process.
That's right.
And that eases out the entire process so much. It may be very simple. So as Suprio said, it takes less than 30 minutes, but sometimes it always helps to have someone who knows the process. So if in case you're looking for that kind of guidance, upGrad Abroad is there. But if in case you feel that I can go solo, I can file my application on my own, and I just need funding, Empower's website is always available. You can go and check that out. Okay, so we are going to do a couple of our FAQs first. All of your questions will be answered. Please put them in the Q&A box. So we've already spoken about this. Okay, this is, I think, one of the most interesting questions of the lot, and this is a suggestion from Suprio only. What are the 5 questions lenders don't want you to ask them? So you've gone to a lender, you want to go and study abroad. They anticipate what kind of questions you are going to come up with, but what are these 5 questions that they don't want you to ask them? Suprio.
Yep. So see, there are obviously there are a lot of myths, but I'll focus on only 5 myths, and let's burst them together. And especially the questions that you would probably ask any particular lender after hearing this would somewhere, I believe, could make them uncomfortable answering your questions. So number 1, as we already discussed, collateral and cosigner. You need to really ask, do I really need a loan with a collateral or a cosigner, or is there any intelligent, uh, or an option which offers a much higher value readily available in the market, right? And if you say yes to a collateral or a cosigner loan, even though after skimming the market, understanding the pros and cons, then you should also ask yourself, what if I can't repay the loan, right? Do I really need to put myself and see and estimate the risk that I'm taking, or do I want to see my parents chipping in and then helping me out, get out of this entire dilemma and this situation? So that's a very basic yet very, very critical and important decision that you should make, and you should decide. The second one is, please ask your lender whether they are offering you with a fixed loan, the loan interest rate fixed in nature or variable in nature. Now, let me simplify this for you. A fixed interest rate loan is the loan whose interest rate will stay fixed irrespective of the market conditions. You know very well, the repo rates have gone up, the Fed rates have gone up, right? So are the interest rates, right? But with the lenders who are offering a fixed rate of interest over the 10 years, right, the rate will remain the same for you. It will not change. So they are going to absorb all the market uncertainties, right, and the risk for you. And you know very well from the day one what EMI that you are going to pay to a lender and close your account with them. Whereas with variable rate of interest, okay, so you are at the mercy of the market, and then if the interest rates goes up, if the Fed, if the RBI, they decide to raise the interest rates, obviously the lenders would be helpless. They would in turn raise the interest rates as well. So you won't have a clarity, what at the end of the day, whether your loan tenure will increase because of the rising interest rates, or you have to end up paying a higher EMI to and cough up and and cough out additional dollars or rupees in order to mitigate the risk that's there in the variable. So these are two basic important aspects that you should really look into. And quickly getting into the third myth, and the question that you should ask is whether you really need a loan with moratorium or without moratorium. Now, with moratorium and without moratorium means somebody would tell you, a lender, that hey, you can take this loan amount. You don't have to pay us for at least 2 years or 2.5 years. You start paying us after 30 months or 2 years, right? And somebody would tell you that we are giving you a particular loan amount, utilize this, and you pay only the loan amount that you have consumed, but you start paying in bits and pieces, and there will be a simple interest. Now, what essentially, and I have already answered this question, is always try to ask yourself that, will I stay in the US after my graduation? And if I stay back in the US after graduation, uh, do I really need US credit history to sustain myself and probably improve my life and my lifestyle there in the US? I think you will get you'll get the answer right way, right? So moratorium versus without moratorium, if you do not pay the simple interest, those simple interest payments will accumulate and then will be charged at a compounded manner, and you will eventually end up paying a much higher cost of the cost of financing will go up. You will end up paying much larger amount to any bank that will help you get a no simple interest payment when you are actually studying. Whereas if you pay the simple interest during your study, it will help you save thousands of dollars and eventually help you build the US credit history as well. I'll take a pause and I'll see if there are any questions on those three myths and the questions that we have discussed.
So I hope all of you are taking down notes, because these are very, so I also didn't know about the fixed and the variable interest part. And these are very, intricate details about the loan process. I hope all of you are taking down notes, whether you want to study abroad this year or next year or 2 years after this. Just take these points down so that it'll help you understand what the lender is actually talking about. Otherwise, you won't know these terms. Let me check the Q&A box. Are there any questions regarding this? So there is a question that says that I want to get into an Ivy League, and
we have already answered that.
Yeah, we've already answered that. So another attendee saying Empower provides loan based on my credit score. I have no history of loan or EMI. How is the interest calculated?
Okay, that's a good question. Can we answer this once we cover all these 5 aspects?
Correct.
Questions? So we'll definitely take that question, and it's a very important question.
I think all of them are clear with the myths that you've spoken about. We don't have any questions about this.
We have just got 2 more myths left, and the next myth which I'm going to share with you, and the question, I would request each and everyone's attention to this question, because this is one of the most critical questions that you're going to ask to the lender. See, as Indians, we all know, we are always driven with this emotion. When we go and we try to buy a car or a bike, first of all, we think mostly, kitna milta hai, right? What's the mileage? That's the first question that we ask. Similarly, when we try to decide upon any lender, we try to zero in, right? We ask, what is the rate of interest? But we don't realize that beyond and behind that particular rate of interest, what are the additional and hidden charges that the bank could levy and add to the interest rate that they are initially sharing with you. And that completely remains either it's a dark hole, or it remains it remains under the cover until and unless you start repaying the loan, and then you come across those costs. Now, it would be really great if if you if you ask this question to a lender, that what is the total cost of financing for my loan amount? Now, total cost of financing of the loan amount would mean that you're asking the lender to help you understand what is an APR. APR is the annual percentage rate. Annual percentage rate means anything and everything, all the percentages, all the costs that you would incur cumulatively uh, would be calculated, and then you get a single rate, interest rate, beyond which no lender would charge you any particular additional amount, right? And what it would be for Indian students is, okay, so with Indian lenders, normally the students would sign up for a loan which is variable in nature, right? So with variable interest rate, there would be a processing fee, right? Along with the processing fee, there could be also an insurance fee. There would be a percentage for insurance fee. Over and above the insurance fee, there will be forex fee. Forex fee for banking transactions, converting your currencies to dollars and then sending to the university. Now, I would encourage the students to actually ask and probe these elements as well, beyond the interest rate that that would be disclosed by any lender. So whenever you go, you have to add all these percentages and then arrive what would be the final interest rate that you would be paying or repaying the loan to that lender, right? So always, it is always good to calculate an APR, that is an annual percentage rate, than just on the face value take a particular interest rate and stay happy for a while, but maybe after a couple of months when you land in the US, you tend to figure out, and when you do your calculation and maths, you find that you are coughing out money for your processing fee. You obviously would know that, but insurance fee, your forex fees, and whatnot, right? So that was the fourth question. And the last but not the least, there is a saying in Hindi, right? Loan ke saath bhi and loan ke baad bhi, right? So that is something which we try to share. So ye dil mange more. You should ask the lender what else. It's perfectly fine. I'm getting money, but I'm also paying you back. You're charging me an interest. So this is a fantastic deal. Thank you for that. But what else are you doing for me, right? Are you going to help me with any value-added services, right? Are you going to help me when I land in the US? Is there any sort of help that you're going to provide, or it's purely a commercial transaction that I'm going to do, right? There are lenders, there are international lenders available in the market who truly sticks to the philosophy of loan ke saath bhi, loan ke baad bhi, right? When you land in the US, they will help you with your job assistance. They will make you job ready. Especially with Empower, we have a program called Path to Success program, wherein we help our candidates, we help our customers prepare for job interviews. We connect them with a lot of mentors and help them in their job assistance and in their job search. Uh, are they going to help you with the immigration process, right? So all these elements will definitely help you decipher and calculate the true value that you are actually seeking from a company. So just to summarize, fixed versus variable. First of all, the cosigner versus no cosigner loans, then fixed versus variable loans, right? Then moratorium versus without moratorium loans, right? And then what is the total cost of financing? What is the APR, annual percentage rate, right? Am I paying a variable rate plus processing fee plus insurance fee plus forex fee? Cumulatively, what I'm paying to a lender. And then what is loan ke saath bhi and loan ke baad bhi? Yep.
So that is so well put, Suprio. I always, whenever I connect with learners on a webinar, I always tell them that there are a lot of consultants out there. So like how Suprio is putting it, that not only are they giving you a loan, but उसके बाद की services जो required है, आप US जा रहे हो to build a career, right? So उसके बाद की वो जो services होती है, which are very important for learners, which are very key to learners, but they don't kind of imagine they're just thinking about the loan and how to get there. So upGrad abroad also, vis-a-vis other consultants, not only do we help you get the program of your choice, university of your choice, get yourself enrolled into the university, start your online journey, go offline. We have a host of onshore services. So if you enroll in any US or Canadian university with us, we have a host. So we have an onshore buddy who will help you get accommodation, get that part-time job, get a full-time job, etc. So always, like Suprio is saying, any service or any company that you engage with for your study abroad dream, be it upGrad abroad, be it Empower, be it any other company, always make sure that you ask them that this is what I came to you for. What is it that you're also giving? It's a very fair question to ask. You're investing in a product with us, or you're asking us to invest in yourself, but what is that extra bit that you are getting? Make sure you ask, probe, know more about what are the services that are going to help you. We have a lot of questions, so we'll move quickly.
Prajita, can we take that question on CIBIL score? I believe the student asked.
Yes, this is being covered.
So to answer that, we do not actually consider CIBIL score, but there is a disclaimer. We consider the CIBIL history. What does that mean? It means that if you are a fresher, it's completely fine. We are even not concerned with either your CIBIL score or CIBIL history, because you don't have it. So we will not factor that in, and it will not affect the decision of Empower, right? Just to let you know, it will not. But if you have a loan on your name, right, and there is an existing debt that you have, you would love to see your payment history, like so whether you have stayed disciplined and you have paid the EMIs on time or not is something which we would definitely look into. But for that, you don't have to worry, right? It's already inbuilt in the application system, right? So there is a process called Nova check. You have to only click a button that is Nova check. Automatically Nova will pull your CIBIL score and the history, and we will get to know what has been the payment history, if you have any, right? So yeah.
So Dipali, you can check that out on their website. It's very easy. I don't think as if you're saying, it takes one click to know, basis your past credit history, whether you're eligible or for how much are you eligible. So we have an anonymous question just to answer that. You're saying how far in advance should we prepare, etc. So today we are only talking about how to finance your masters in the US and Canada. We're not talking about exam preparation or application preparation. However, we have a webinar next Wednesday wherein you can ask all of these application, academic, eligibility related questions. Suprio is an expert on financing your higher ed dream, not eligibility related questions. This we can take next week. Please join us for that webinar. Okay, so we have Mansa. So she's saying that she's already enrolled in a course with us. So she's also an upGrad abroad learner. Haga Helia in Finland. USA was not affordable. So Mansa, I would ideally ask you to first connect to your counselor. Empower is our partner. So if you would want to shift, whether that is possible, how far along are you in your program, whether that switch would actually, so when we think about changing our country or program, it should always be dependent on what career trajectory do we have in mind, and not whether it is affordable or not. So I think your career counselor, your counselor with upGrad abroad will be the best person to guide you. If in case you're very, far along the program, may be difficult to switch. Maybe if you've just started the program, there'll be something we can do. But please write to us at social@upgradabroad.com, and we will be happy to connect you with another counselor. Or if you're currently in touch with your counselor, please ask him if this is still a possibility. Akshay, yes, you can get. So all of our webinars are recorded. They are all available on our YouTube channel, as well as our website, as well as our application. We have a Play Store as well as an Apple application for you guys to indulge in. So you can find this webinar there in a couple of days. There's an attendee that is asking us, Suprio, what is the rate of interest on a non-collateral loan, and does that vary if you take a collateral loan versus non-collateral, etc.? Can you elaborate?
Right. Absolutely. So when it comes to our interest rates, especially I'll talk about the graduates, the master's program, right? So the interest rate, which is fixed in nature, is 12.99%, and then you're eligible for a interest rate discount of 0.25% if you sign up for an auto repayment of the loans. So eventually from 12.99%, you would get a discount of 0.25. That will make your simple interest rate of 12.74%. And there are certain origination fee, which is of 5%. 5% doesn't mean that 12.74 plus 5%. It's not. 5% is added to the principal amount. Say, for an example, you have asked for $10,000, then 5%, your principal amount will become $10,500. That's how the thing is. So there is a origination fee of 5%. So if you fuse and if you merge this 5% with 12.74%, the final APR, that is annual percentage rate, which I have been speaking, right, all inclusive, right, would be 13.72% annually.
Okay, so we have another attendee who was talking about the ROI, or the return on the investment. I think we've already spoken about it. Are there any other questions from all the attendees who are here? Are there any other questions regarding financing your masters in the US or Canada? They can be as simple or as complicated as you would like it. If there are any other questions, I think Suprio and I will be more than happy to help you out. If not, then please drop in so a survey link has also been shared. You can fill in that survey. Tell us what you really want to hear about. We would love to know if you want to hear more about financing, you want to hear about proficiency, you want to hear about eligibility. What is it that you want to hear about in our webinars? I'll wait for another minute. Yes.
I would like to add 2 more points here. With respect to Empower, you also get 10 years to repay your loan amount, right? And along with those 10 years, you can prepay and you can pre-close your loan without any penalty, right? So, you're eligible for 10 years, but if you want to close it within 3 to 5 years, feel free to do that. And there is no penalty, of pre-closing a loan with us.
So I cannot see any more questions. I think we've answered most of the questions in detail. This webinar will be available as a recorded session. It will also be sent to all of you. For any queries, there is a handle in the chat box, which is social@upgradabroad.com. Please feel free to drop in any query regarding anything. We have a webinar coming up next week, as already discussed, about Ask Us Anything. We will have a study abroad expert help deconstruct your credibility or your academic eligibility for any university that you're looking for. So Priyo, thank you so much for being here and for helping us understand so many things that I think a normal aspirant doesn't even think of. I think APR was such an important concept. I would have never thought that, okay, apart from the interest rate, can I ask about, is there any other cost? And I would obviously know when I land in the US, which was very aptly put by you. I think I personally have learned a lot. I will definitely, Suprio, schedule another webinar with you on financing and how we can get into other nitty-gritties of financing your masters in the US and Canada. We can talk about things in detail. Even if you want to help us with the topics, if you want to tell us what specifically you would want to know, this is for all learners. Any specific part of financing your dream that is troubling you, that's holding you back, that this is why I'm not able to finance my dream, please feel free to drop in those suggestions as well. And we'll make sure, we'll request Suprio to please come in for another webinar and take those questions up for you. But for today, I think we've answered a majority of questions. Thank you so much for being a part and staying till the end. I'm so happy that even if some of you get to finance your dreams through Empower and upGrad Abroad, I think it will just make our evening worth it. Thank you so much, Suprio. I hope you'll come visit us again.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's been a pleasure for me, and upGrad has been an amazing organization. They're so dedicated to serving the students at large. That's the more reason, I feel coming back to you guys and helping the brilliant students here. I would leave the students who was attending this session with my final thoughts. Uh, we understand that, see, you probably know many people who have gotten education loans, right? That's very natural. You would be tempted to do what your friends, your family members have done, right? Or maybe the suggestions that they would give you eventually. I would request you, I would rather suggest you to take some time, figure out what's best for you. Go research. This is a huge decision that you're going to take. It's a huge investment and it's a huge repayment that you're going to make. So it's a big decision and and a big investment in you. So don't go by herd mentality. Take a pause, analyze all the aspects, and then take a decision. Thank you so much.
Absolutely beautifully articulated. I don't think I could have emphasized the importance of how big a decision this is. Think about it, contemplate, research, be prepared. And I think if you are, persistent enough, you will be in the US or in Canada in a university that you're eligible for and having the time of your life. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in the next webinar. Thanks, Suprio. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Prajit.